Sporting Journal Radio, presented by Onyx.
I think it's a purge.
Took line pretty good.
Your technique is impeccable.
Thank you. I don't catch fish on rattle reels anymore.
Well, looks like you're not going to anymore today either.
Did you miss it?
No. It dropped it. I didn't miss it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I didn't even set the hook. You got to set the hook to miss it.
All right. Well, that would have been a great way to start the show if you actually caught a fish, but it was close enough. We got to hear the rattle reel go off, so we're gonna go with it anyway. The two Jasons with us right now. That's Jason Durham and Jason Rylander. Guys, how's it going?
Very good.
Awesome.
And you guys are actually in the same fish house. You're on two different cameras there, but you guys are fishing together right now. Which begs the question. A lot of people are wondering right now if you, Jason, has popped the question yet.
No, I haven't asked him for a beer yet.
I didn't know what question you were getting at.
Is that the question?
I thought maybe you pre-planned something.
You guys obviously are being seen together a lot in a lot of different places. The Jasons is becoming a thing, I think it seems like. Anyway, how did you guys get to become friends?
Do you want to answer?
The internet.
It matched on Tinder or?
No. We knew of each other. We knew of each other on Facebook, and we had followed, what escapades we were each doing. And he invited me to go out eelpout fishing. I honestly wasn't really interested. I didn't want to do it, and he kept begging. And when we went out the first time, we just connected on so many different levels, and we had a great night catching burbs. And I was addicted to eelpout ever since then. And I don't want to say we've been addicted to each other, but we spent some time together. And
obviously, eelpout or Burbot are going to be a big part of this conversation, and we'll get to that particular species of fish here in just a little bit. But let's just back up for just a second now. Jason Durham, of course, you've been on the show a few times. You're a teacher. Jason Rylander, I'm going to call you. What do I call you? Call you JD and JR or J1, J2? How's this going to work?
Yeah.
Let me tell you what you can call him. There's a few things. You can call him J. Rye. You could also call him the Reverend. Because
the Reverend?
A lot of people don't realize this, but Jason is an ordained minister. I know that may shock a lot of people, but he's available to host weddings, puts the fun back in funeral, anything like that. He's available.
Did you get ordained? Are you like the online church ordination that you have to do every year? Have you kept up with it?
No, mine was a lifelong deal. You have to renew your local piece.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've never had to do that. I had a couple of weddings lined up a couple summers ago. I had a runaway groom.
Oh boy.
And then I was going to do another friends, and they got antsy and went to the courthouse, and I never ended up doing theirs. But I am lined up for one this fall, so I'm excited to help out some friends there down on Leech Lake.
Well, I kind of want to ask about the runaway groom, but based on that look, maybe we shouldn't ask for that story.
That's probably not good.
Okay, so Jason Durham, you've been on the show, of course, before, and you're a teacher. We know that. Jay Rye, I think this is your first time on the show, isn't it?
It is. It is. Right, Thanks for having me in the program.
You bet. So we didn't really know what you did, so we did a little bit of research on you. We found out a few things about you. You like PBRs. You hate shirts. And you have a healthy obsession with Burbot. Is that accurate?
Well, the Pabst thing is kind of come and gone. I played that card. I still do enjoy it, but I come down with gout so bad I hardly drink beer anymore.
Gotcha.
And I haven't been able to get Royal to wrap my boat.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Was that because I saw an Eelpout picture with a can of PBR? Obviously, the boat. You had the boat wrapped. I remember when that went up for sale a couple of years ago. That was going all over the internet. That was a big deal. And I always wanted to ask you how that came about. Was that a deal with Pabst, or were you just a fan and said, I'm going to wrap my boat with that? Or how did that come about?
I met the regional sales manager, and for whatever reason, we hit it off. He liked me, and I kind of just jokingly said we chatted multiple times, and one of the times I was like, yeah, we should wrap my boat. It'd be free advertising for you up here in northern Minnesota. And he's like, that's a great idea. 8 months later, he called me, goes, still want to wrap the boat? I found somebody to do it. Here's a couple of options, and the rest is history. I had a Pabst boat, the Pabst can, we called it.
You know, the thing about a wrap boat is they're pretty cool, but all of a sudden people quickly find out where you fish all the time.
Yeah. But I didn't mind. None of my spots are very secret anyway.
Sure. How many guys came up and asked you for a beer?
A few asked for a beer. A lot of pictures at the boat landings, though. Lots of pictures. Guys wanted pictures with the boat. So it was. I was always popular at the landing more than on the water. I don't think people paid quite as much attention there.
Sure. How did the family like your Christmas card this year?
I know my wife didn't like it, and my mom didn't like it.
That's so awesome.
My mother is a saint, and my brother. We were taking an actual picture. It was over Thanksgiving, and my brother's like, we should do one of those awkward Christmas cards. You got that long goofy hair, you can put it down and then take your shirt off or something. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So we did as a joke. I knew I had to get it on the internet before he put it on there. So the funny thing is we were sitting at Christmas and both put it on Facebook at the same time.
That's great. The Christmas card picture was awesome, but I think the best one, though, is the Burbot bath picture.
Oh, yeah, that drummed up a lot of attention. We took that.
Now, that look on your face, is that of pure enjoyment or shock of cold water, or just the fact that you've got all these eelpout squirming around your undercarriage?
Have you ever dipped your most sensitive body parts in 32.1 degree water? That's the look on your face when you do that. I couldn't even feel those eelpout.
Man.
I was trying to get on my lap, and it was so dang cold.
I would like to interject here for a second. I had the same look on my face when he got out of that. If you Google Eelpout hot tub, anybody can find it online. And it's not obviously a hot tub, but when he got out of that hot tub, I had the same look on my face because he had the most well-worn pair of underwear I've ever seen in my life. There were so many holes in them. I couldn't believe it. You were not getting any extra warmth from the one garment you had on.
No, I wasn't.
Oh, man.
Well, I think the best part about that picture, little funny story for me, is one of my first Photoshop projects in college. Jason, you were supposed to come up with the Bemidji State fishing team is doing a ice fishing gala a couple years back. And so I had to make a poster for it. And so what did I use was that picture. And we slapped those things all over Bemidji State's campus. So I'm sure half of the people who weren't fishing were just walking around the hallways of Bemidji State wondering what the heck the fishing team is up to.
That's why those college girls were calling me.
Yeah, that's just it.
His underwear wasn't well worn. He was just trying to keep his underwear on. All these college girls kept trying to rip it off. How did that picture come about? Was that planned, or did you just say, I'm jumping in there? It looks comfortable.
That was a picture. I wanted to take that. I wanted to do that for a while. I had this idea in my head. The idea in my head was me more in with the fish, and the fish kind of over my legs and in my lap. But when we went out and drilled the live well, the ice was so porous, immediately water started coming up. So every hole was a different deal. It was jagged. When I plopped my butt down in there, my butt went right onto a chunk of ice and wasn't super comfortable. So getting my legs in wasn't an option. But we did the best we could with what we had, and I guess the rest is history.
Now, those are probably the more famous pictures that we've come across. Are there any others out there that we should be aware of?
There's pictures out there. They just haven't been quite as popularized yet. Maybe some that haven't been shared, but they're all pretty PG. I mean, everybody asked how drunk I was when I took the picture with the Eelpout and this and that, and I said actually I was completely sober, because if I had drank that evening, I would have done it naked, and then I wouldn't have been able to share that picture with the world.
Oh man, when I see posts from either one of you two come across social media, it usually gives me a good laugh. There's props involved a lot of times, or Burbot in sensitive areas. Do you guys try to outdo each other with some of these things? Are you guys collaborating? Is it, the wig picture? What did you guys say? Hey, let's put on some.
That was Jason. Was it?
That was Halloween.
Halloween, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we were just Halloween.
And I mean, who doesn't have a couple extra wigs laying around the house?
Most of the ideas come from the school teacher, not from the rice guy. It's like,
I would say that. Are you raising your hand there? Do you have a question?
I have a question. Things that are laying on the table here in his fish house,
Yeah. The big thing for me is that, out of any feeling that you can have in your body, laughter is one of the absolute best, and it's contagious and it's eternal. Like, if you think of something, if you think of the stupid things that we've done over the years and you go back and reflect on it, you're going to laugh. You just are. And it feels good to do that. So, to give people some joy in their life, a smile on their face, there's nothing better than that. And we are really good at making fun of each other. I love to prank Jason. I love to prank him. We've had so many times, and I sometimes wonder if he just feels like he's stepping, going through a minefield, and like what's going to happen next.
What's the best prank?
What's the show rated?
Oh, I don't know. We had a pretty good one last summer where I called up a radio station in Bemidji that we both do interviews with periodically, and I said I want to be a guest host and I want to interview Jason, but I pretended that I was somebody else, an intern, and he bit hook, line, and sinker. I mean, I talked about catching big-eyed bass and small-eyed bass, and he didn't even flinch. And I asked him who his favorite, out of any Jason in the fishing industry, who he'd want to fish with. And
who did he say?
He finally said me, and I said, well, how much do you pay him to take you out? And he still didn't catch on. He said, I give him some Diet Coke and some hard-boiled eggs. And then I broke character and said, well, you should pay me a lot more for putting up with your end.
That's awesome.
Oh, they got him, and Kev Jackson got me good. They got what threw me off with that prank, and maybe Jason will do the voice if he can remember what it was, but it was Kevin texted me in the morning. He's like, hey, I can't do the interview with you today. I've got an intern in here who's going to do it. Doesn't know a lot about fishing, but I got the questions set up for him. And I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever works for you, Kevin, don't matter.
By the way, I composed that text, sent it to Kevin, and Kevin sent it to Jason.
Brilliant.
Premeditated.
So the phone rings, and I start doing it, and it is a quasi-Southern accent, but he talked so slow that it threw me off because I didn't know how to really respond.
Because so many Bemidji radio guys have Southern accents.
In the moment, what do you do? Like, I had no reason not to believe.
Everybody that heard it said, Jason, how didn't you know right away? Like, everybody said, as soon as I heard the voice, I knew it was Jason Durham. As soon as I heard it, and I go, no, you didn't. You only knew it was me because you knew it was me. Otherwise, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good accent.
It was one of your better ones.
Did you get them back?
No, I'm a nice human being. I would never do anything like that.
He never does that. He makes fun of me sometimes.
Yeah.
But he doesn't, like, And anything that we do to each other is never like mean,
Sure.
for the most part. I mean, I make fun of his weight. He makes fun that I'm going bald and that I'm older than him. But otherwise, it's pretty kind. Kid gloves. And
I can lose the weight. You can't get younger or get hair.
did you see the picture with the wig?
That's why he has all the wigs, obviously.
There's options. I always like to have options.
Yeah. It's not the only wig he's got.
And you should pair one of those wigs. I want to know, obviously you guys both do stuff with Clam. Did Clam make that shiny jacket specially for you? And then did they give you the gold pants, or did you just have the gold pants already?
Well, here's the thing. Clam had nothing to do with it. I took care of all of this. We've got a great little embroidery shop outside of Nevis, the metropolis of Nevis, where I teach Unknown Legends Designs, and they took care of it. Clam sent me the logo and everything. They had no idea what I was doing. The gold pants, you can get anything you want off Amazon. What's hard to see in the picture is the hat is a LED hat, so you can put whatever you want going across the front of it.
Oh, really?
And the shoes are actually fiber optic, so they light up. When I was walking down Kellogg Avenue down at the St. Paul show, every single person was commenting or, looking. I mean, you wouldn't believe the rubbernecking going on. And, why would I do something like that? Not necessarily, not to get attention for myself, even though a lot of people would go, oh, you're trying to get attention. It's trying to give somebody a smile, a laugh. Like I told someone, when you go to Disneyland, you want to see magic. When you go to the St. Paul Ice Show, the biggest ice show on the planet, you want to see magic. Mm-hmm. And that's why I did it.
Were you doing magic tricks too? Card tricks?
I was just emanating the magic. Some dance. There was a little dancing.
There was some dancing.
Wear an outfit like that.
We're losing you there a little bit.
You have to. You.
Yep.
And we
You
can
guys
hear
there?
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you were cutting out on us there, so I think we got you back now. But last thing we heard is that can one of you guys silence your phone or?
It's my dang I'm still working. The emails are popping up. I just shut it. We should be good.
All right. All right, we're still rolling, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so you guys are both obviously good at catching fish. You do some guiding, and I want to talk about that and get a fishing report from you guys here in a little bit. But first, we're going to do a little bit of trivia. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you guys excited? I know when I told you guys before the interview that we're going to do some trivia, Jason Durham, you were very excited about it. Jason Rylander, not so much. But
he said he's really good at trivia. And I just said I've got really good penmanship.
So we need some props here. You need to be able to write something down. And I know you guys are sitting next to each other, but you can't show each other your answers, okay? So grab your markers and your pieces of paper, whatever it is that you got there, notebooks, whiteboards, whatever it is. And, well, Dan and I talked about this, like what kind of trivia should we play? And we talked about maybe Family Feud or
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yeah, something like that. But we figured we got the Jasons, so we thought the best game to play would be the Newlywed Game. Ladies and gentlemen, the Newlywed Game with the Jasons here on today's show. Here's how it works. We're going to have 3 rounds of questions. Bring that music bed down just a little, would you, Dan? We're going to have 3 rounds of questions. You'll each write down your answer, and then you'll reveal what each person guessed. And if you get them all right, Dan, tell them what they're playing for today, ladies and gentlemen.
They are playing for a custom SJR 20-ounce his and his coffee mug.
Hey, look at that.
I want that. I need that in my life.
Yeah, I'll buy it if we don't win.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, are you guys ready for round 1? Round 1 of the Newlywed Game with the Jasons. And you guys know how this works, right? You want to know how well you know your spot, you know your fishing partner? The newlywed game. All right, so round one. This is about the two of you together. Question one, where did you guys share your first catch? Where did you guys share your first catch?
Now, wait a second.
Now we got to reveal lakes?
I know, that's the big problem. Oh,
Okay, let's do this. How about first species? Just tell me the first species that you guys caught together. You don't have to tell me the lake.
You can tell me the lake.
Yeah. You can tell us off the air. The first fish.
Dan could probably guess what lake.
Playing the newlywed
You
game.
might be overestimating me.
Do we have our answers?
I'm ready.
How long is this name of fish, Jason? You're writing a novel over there about it.
I'm ready.
All right, reveal your answers, ladies and gentlemen. And it's Burbot. They have one correct. Question one. You got it correct. All right, question two.
Burpout.
Burpout. Yes, the Walley Burpout.
Using to wipe it off.
This is the newlywed game with the Jasons. Who is better in Who is better in boats? Who is better in boats, ladies and gentlemen?
Boat control?
No, just in boats.
In boats?
It could be boat control. It could be a better angler. It could be quieter. It could be more helpful. Could be a better storyteller. And the answer is, ladies and gentlemen, reveal your answers. Me. He is. Hey, they got it right. All right. All right.
I fully expected you to write me.
All right. We got 12 of these to get through. All right. Here's number 3.
Oh, okay.
Who is most likely to be late to the landing? Who's most likely to be late to the landing?
Writing a novel?
I got it.
All right, reveal your answers. Me. Well, I mean,
It's the right. It's the
We both put
same.
extra points.
Hey, wait a second. What? That is a point for us.
I mean, you both wrote the same answer. I'll allow it.
Well, all right.
I'll allow it.
We both even had exclamation points.
That is kind of.
All right, question 4. Who spends the most money on fishing gear? Who spends the most money on fishing gear? Playing the newlywed game with the Jasons. And we have it. All right. What are your answers? Me. Durham. Hey, they're 4 for 4. All right. So round 2. Round 2. Round 2 is going to be a little bit different. This one will focus on Jason Rylander. So now we need to know how well Jason Durham knows Jason Rylander. Are you guys ready for round 2? Here we go.
Yes.
What is J. Ry's favorite colored jig? I mean, are you writing in calligraphy over there?
He bought paper and like a pen that doesn't work.
I'm ready.
All right, what are your answers? Green glow, blue, glow green.
Oh, wait.
Oh, glow green. Oh, I think he's got it right. He changed his answer. There we go. All right.
Now, is that after the sly look over?
I told him cheating was allowed, so
all right.
not a big deal. All right.
Oh, he got it.
Question 2. What is J. Ry's favorite boat snack? What is his favorite boat snack?
Well, I got to think about that. This is a tough one, bro.
My goal was to stump you.
I think you might have.
Are you guys big boat snack guys? I know some people.
Yeah. Jason does. I usually don't have to. I just eat whatever he's got.
That's true.
That's why it's hard for him because I just eat his food.
I rarely bring snacks when I hunt or fish, but I know some people that are very serious about it.
Yeah. I'm very passionate about it.
All right. What are your answers? Cheese. Coffee.
Fried cheese.
Oh, that's I would. But
It was the best boat snack I've ever had. He fried cheese in the boat. It was snowing out, and we were frying cheese. It was amazing.
How did you fry the cheese in the boat? How did that work?
I have a little butane burner, a single burner, and my boat's got enough space that I just set up a little kitchen in the back.
And fried some cheese.
Yeah.
It was like a brick. It was amazing.
It's called bread cheese. You should look it up. It's incredible. Yeah. But you only had it one time in your life.
Yeah, it was that good. It's the most nicest thing you've ever done for me.
I went with the cheese that you eat more than once.
This is like the New Adventure where they start fighting.
I'm going to fight you after.
That was the goal. Question 3. What is Jason Rylatter's dream fishing destination? What is his dream fishing destination? Ladies and gentlemen, the Newlywed Game with the Jasons.
Got it.
Durham has his answer. All right, reveal your answers. Diefenbaker, Panama. Well,
you've already been there.
Hey, I want to go back.
Like, you've already accomplished
I lived
that.
the dream, and I want to dream it again.
all right, one last question. Round 2, ladies and gentlemen, the Newlywed Game with the Jasons. Who would play Jason Rylander in a movie? Ladies and gentlemen, who would play?
Easy.
I kind of feel like we might have this one too.
It's who he's going to say, but it's not who I want.
I'm writing fast. I'm a non-teacher. Okay, we got it.
It's a long name.
Yeah.
All right, reveal your answers. Zach Galifianakis. or Ron from Parks and Rec. Yes, Ron Swanson.
No, not or. It's plus.
Or.
If those two could have a baby together, it would be Jason Rylander. Although you look a lot like Russell Crowe in that headshot.
I get that a lot.
So we kind of figured it'd be Zach Galifianakis, actually, and Dan did some Photoshop work there. He actually
that's a real picture.
He photoshopped your face on Hillary Clinton's body, I guess.
Perfect. We got the same kind of body.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, one more round of the Newlywed Game with the Jasons here. Round 3. This is all about Jason Durham. How much does Jason Rylander know about Jason Durham, ladies and gentlemen? Question number 1. What does Jason Durham say most often when he hooks into a fish? Ladies and gentlemen, what does Jason Durham say most often when he hooks into a fish?
You already done rating? No, I'm wrong.
I have a lot of practice at it. I practice writing every day.
All right.
All right, reveal your answers. There's one.
This is awesome.
There's one. They got it. All right. Round 4 going well. Question 2. What is Jason Durham's go-to presentation for walleyes? What is his go-to for walleyes? The
Summer
Newlywed
or
Game.
winter?
Let's go summer.
Okay.
Summer. We probably should have done winter since it is January.
Winter, but we like to think of summer.
Yeah.
More options.
We'll talk about winter walleye fishing here in a little bit. All right, reveal your answers, ladies and gentlemen. Live bait rig and
That counts.
Rig and crawler. There we go. All right. Question 3, round 4. What is Jason Durham's dream fishing boat? What is his dream fishing boat?
That's easy.
Super easy.
Think he's fishing in it?
Yeah, he probably is. Maybe. Yeah. Well.
Too late.
All right. The one. Yeah. There it is. What? He has it. There it is. The one he has. All right. And the last question, ladies and gentlemen, last question of the Newlywed Game with the Jasons. What is Jason Durham's worst annoying habit? What is his worst annoying habit? That's a real Newlywed Game question. We thought we'd put one real one in there.
Loaded question.
Mm-hmm.
Will they still be in the same ice house after this question? May have ruined the live event at 8 tonight.
Yeah, the Clam Live Facebook event's been canceled.
We've gone through everything now.
And the answers are egg farts. Oh, they got it right. Hey, nice job. You guys can stay married. Congratulations. The Jasons for playing the Newlywed Game today. We're going to get you the matching set of his custom Sporting Journal Radio 20-ounce tumblers featuring this picture right here. Congratulations, fellas.
Yeah, do you have a supplier?
I do, as a matter of fact.
Obviously, going to want to order.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get you some. No problem. Thanks, guys. All right, I want to talk Eelpout or Burbot now here with you guys as we continue this show. Now, I think they're really cool fish, and I remember not that long ago that people were still freaking out about them. Oh, they wrap around your arm when you pull them up. They're throwing them out on the ice, letting them die. Rough fish, they hate them. They're ugly, whatever. But in recent years, they've become obviously much more popular. The popularity really is exploding for these things. People are guiding for them. People are targeting them out there. Dan's been out there on the ice chasing them around quite a bit.
Gas fish.
In recent with so much of that discussion, they've gotten so popular. That discussion about having limits on them in Minnesota has begun. Jason Rylander, when did you first become interested and really start to like that fish?
I want to say 15 years ago or so. It was before my son was born, before I was married. I was out on Lake Bemidji fishing with some buddies. We were walleye fishing and I caught one jigging. And it was a 6, 7, 8 pounder. It was a big one. And I was like, that was incredibly fun. It fought harder than a walleye. And I want to know more about these. So I started doing a little bit of research, go back out on Bemidji, fishing in March, I think it was, early March. And I run into Matt Brewer. And that's how him and I met.
Oh, okay.
We struck up conversation, started fishing Eelpout together, became friends. Now I'm guiding for him. And I took everything that he would share with me, and he got me in with the big nasty spoons. He knew Adam before anybody else would. Heck, Adam was hardly even selling them at that point. And then I just took it to a whole nother level. I really got into it and started exploring lakes and asking anybody I could, like, have you ever caught, like, where have you been catching eelpout when you're walleye fishing and this and that? And they're like, oh, everybody shared information because nobody cared. And now I've got to know like, Tim Humphrey over there on Cass Lake's been guiding them for forever. He's been a great resource of knowledge and, just soaking things in like a sponge, reading any article I can find, researching just the species in general and some of their habits and what they do, and a whole lot of trial and error and a whole lot of gas money. And it was a fun adventure. I mean, I still enjoy the hunt and going out and trying different lakes, but it's always everybody likes big fish. So I'm always going after big fish. So there's a lot of local lakes that I'm not necessarily fishing a ton anymore. Spending some time traveling and probably fishing them less than I used to, especially with life happens. You get older, you got kids and a wife and a job. So I don't get to chase them quite as much as I used to. But I mean, what a fun experience, pioneering and just learning something completely on your own. There wasn't articles, there wasn't episodes on TV about eelpout. It was go figure it out, and it was an incredible experience. And I got to do a lot of it with this guy.
Yeah, it still is an incredible experience. I mean, and it still is pioneering. You know, we got to help the DNR out with a study on eelpout that, you know, really they had no information on the species. And when we say we got to help out, it wasn't like we were wearing lab coats or anything, but we got to catch the fish and help catch the fish and watch the whole process. And there were other anglers that got to do that too. And then, you know, just talking with other anglers too about the importance of that fish. Like, a lot of people don't realize their role in the ecosystem. People think of them as this, you know, swampy, shallow water creature. They compare it to a dogfish, okay, because they have a lot of physical similarities. And in reality, eelpout have very stringent clean water requirements. So if you would have a decline in water quality, that would be the first species that's affected. So as a landowner or as a conservationist, you know, as an outdoors person, wouldn't you want to know if you were seeing that type of decline? So those types of studies, when we were helping out with this study, it was a pretty sizable chunk of money that was dedicated towards studying eelpout. And when I would tell people about it, some people would, you know, be upset. Oh, there you go. There's another example of the DNR wasting our taxpayer dollars on this junk fish. But it's not. It's an important species. And now you're starting to see this shift in how people are treating the fish and how they're respecting the fish and seeing it as something that's fun to catch, good to eat, although even that part has changed where people are being, you know, very much more conservation minded in how many they keep, because it's not just this endless resource.
I was surprised at how much catch and release has really taken off for that fish, because they are good to eat, and they weren't, you know, there's no limits on them in Minnesota. They weren't regarded as much of a game fish for a long time, but the sport fishing aspect has really taken off. And I know I would have conversations with Dan when he was up in Bemidji going to school up there, and they'd be targeting these fish. I'd be like, man, did you cook some of those up? You know, they're good to eat. And he goes, no, we always put them back. I don't think you guys really ever kept any, did you?
I think I ate one.
Yeah.
I ate it, and it was good, but I felt the need to not ever do it again because it's fun to watch them swim back.
Well, of course, and I'm a big proponent of catch and release, there's no doubt, but I also love to eat fish. So, you know, I have no problem, like, say, walleyes going from 6 down to 4. I have no problem with that, or even going down to 3, really, for that matter. I you know, you keep a couple. I don't like to free. I usually eat it before it makes it to the freezer, so I don't feel the need to go out and have to catch a limit all the time. And for some of the trophy fish, like when I go up to Saskatchewan, all our big fish, of course, always go back, or for that matter, any big fish that I catch anywhere always goes back. So I'm a proponent of that, but I've been surprised at how much catch and release has been involved with the Eelpout guys.
I think there's anglers that are keeping some for a meal, and with any fish, heck yeah, have at it. There is no limit, and that's the one thing that makes me nervous is it's getting more popular. The best time to fish them is pre-spawn and spawn. So, you know, there's that ethical piece of it too. But, you know, there's nothing wrong with keeping a couple of those 3 to 5 pounders and taking those back straps from the tail and eating them. On a normal year, I might catch 300 eelpout. Let's just make up a number. I keep and clean 4 a year, probably, one meal. What? Most of the time, I'm not getting home until 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. This is all cheese, and
that's what I'm getting. Looking at your physique, it's way more than 4
Well, I think fish is healthy. I probably don't eat enough fish.
So do you guys think that they should be putting limits on those on Eelpout, Minnesota?
I've been working with the DNR on that through my connections at Linder Media, Jeremy Smith and Ty Shadeen, and have been involved in several emails, surveys, questionnaires. I had one phone call with, I don't even know who the person was, just kind of asking me questions. And so I've been doing my part, and I know it's coming. Yeah. I think it's not you don't just flip a switch. I mean, I think it's got to go through legislature. I don't even think the DNR. I think all the DNR does is recommend the legislature, and legislature who sets that stuff. I mean, because it's a law. So there's a lot of hoops to jump through. And the other species in the conversation was Tulip Cisco.
Yeah,
they're talking about putting limits on those too, because they're the popularity and with Cisco numbers depleting in some certain lakes. They want to start protecting those as well.
And those are good to eat too, and surprisingly good to eat. I think a lot of people don't realize that, just how good table fare they can be, and also fun to catch too. And I've seen people in recent years start to guide for tulip and even whitefish too, kind of a different species to target out there. Spawn balls have to be one of the more unique events in nature here in Minnesota, don't you think?
100%. Yeah, what a unique thing. And even just to have a fish that spawns underneath the ice is very unique in itself. So the whole species is just, I mean, if you look at it, it's so dynamic, it's so wild.
It's the only freshwater member of the cod family.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've been able to watch a few spawn balls. I mean, some internet videos where they got them actually on video. But I don't own one, and we noted in the Newlywed Game, I don't spend money on fishing stuff, so I don't have a live scope. But my friends do, and I was able to watch some spawn balls on live scope, which was pretty awesome to watch.
Crazy.
And learned a ton watching that thing on some behavior. That's some secret stuff that's for another podcast. But just some of the behavior aspects of what they do when they're doing that was a really cool experience.
I think they're fun to catch. They always trick me. I always think I'm catching a big walleye until they fight them for a little bit. Then you can tell that there's a difference there. But when you're fishing for walleye and you catch a burbot, sometimes it's a little disappointing, but they're still fun to catch because they tend to be good fighters and bigger fish. And I think they just look cool. I just think the coloration on them and what would you call the ventriculation? Would that be the right word for it?
That's a big word.
I don't even know what that word means.
I know in lake trout they've got the lines. I know eelpout have kind of some similar markings. Anyway, I think they look like pretty neat fish. And then just like the history of the oil, like up on Lake of the Woods, the oil that they used to take from these fish in medicine.
Liver oils.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yep.
Pretty neat fish anyway. So if you guys aren't targeting burbot as much right now, what have you guys been fishing for lately?
Yes. Hey, really, I've been chasing everything.
Everything.
Kind of interesting. Last week we had some pretty interesting weather with temperatures down to, I mean, I have a picture on my truck of -40, and we got 22 inches of snow. All within a couple days. I had guide clients here from Missouri.
Oh boy!
So you're talking about 100-degree temperature differential, and they're all in it. They came up and ice fished the first time in 2018. They just love it. After that first time they went, they had me buy them ice armor suits and boots, and so they're geared up for it. But boy, talk about troopers when you hit that negative 30, 40 degrees and they still want to go out, that's dedication. But we've been chasing panfish, pike, walleye. We have fished burbs. We went over to Leech together with those clients.
Missouri. Yeah, Jason invited me with.
That's awesome. When you get people from
that's the one. Yeah.
When you get people from the South like that, I remember when I've taken hunting trips down South Missouri, Arkansas, Kansas, or whatever, and you start telling them that, we drive out on ice, and they just start to look at you funny just a little bit. So that's pretty cool to get people into it that are from the South like that. And that picture of 40 below.
That night when we were out there, we didn't have great success. And part of the reason was we had a muskie under the fish house the entire time, the entire night.
Well, there's no other. We would mark it on 4 different Vexlars, and at different times, and sometimes other times, and there was no other explanation for it because it wasn't
interference.
It wasn't interference when it's marking on the same deal. We're only in 12 feet of water.
Yeah.
And that's our only explanation. It's got to be just a muskie just laying halfway down and just I'm going to live underneath this fish house.
Perfect. Man, so that 40 below picture, I think that was, you did the hot water, throwing the hot water up in the air in the video too, in that same post, right? Yeah. I think Dan might be able to find that. So I was going to ask you how ice and or snow conditions have been. So maybe while Dan plays this video, he can tell us what the lakes are like up there.
Well, it's kind of interesting because we got a lot of snow, but it's really, really light. So, we don't have a ton of water on the ice, but there's some. You're still able to drive around a lot of places with trucks, but I also don't recommend it because, you take one truck out and it does just fine. You take another truck out and now you're buried. So Don't blame me. But the big thing with going out anytime in the winter, you always have a shovel. You always have a jerk strap because, you're going to get hung up at some point out on the lake. And, I've learned over the years that even if you have two people going fishing, take two vehicles, take two trucks. It makes it so much easier than trying to dig one out, together. Right. Just put that tow strap on there and yank them out.
It's just so crazy to me because like the northern half of Minnesota's got so much snow and it's been so cold, but the southern half of Minnesota, we've been pretty cold down here too, but we just don't have the snow. Like we got trucks and tandem axles out on the lake, some of the lakes, of course, and 16 inches of ice or something like that. So we've that snow, man, that's a killer when you get that much snow up there like that.
Well, we actually only have 15 or 16 inches of ice here. If you get up to like Red Lake, even in the Bemidji area, you get a few more inches. But snow is a necessity for us. Because for our tourism, snowmobiling is such a huge thing. Even cross-country skiing, that outdoor aspect of it, of the economy, is so big when we don't have snow. It really puts a pinch on some of these businesses. So we want snow, but...
just later.
Right. Let us get a bunch of ice first.
Yeah. You guys, I think, was it Fargo? You guys did a seminar together over there, fishing seminar? Was it the Fargo show this year? Have you guys done them together like that before? And what was this one about?
Have we done one before?
With St. Paul, you just had me come along for the ride. We did, but it was virtually the same one.
It's pretty. We
similar. Called Jason named it Panfish to Burbot and
Bluegills to
Burbot. We talked about bluegills for about 4 seconds and then just went right into Eelpout.
I said, well, Jason, how do you like to fish for panfish, for bluegill? And he goes, I like to use a tungsten jig and some light line and, maybe a wax worm or maybe some plastic, and that's how I catch bluegills. Let's talk Burbot. That was it. Yep. You can watch it online. It's pretty it's pretty brief, a brief conversation about panfish.
It was kind of a brief conversation about Eelpout. We kind of talked about nonsense for most of it. We didn't have, I know it was online and they were putting it over the speaker, but we only had about 4 or 5 people in attendance, and I think we knew most of them. So we were able to get Joel Nelson up on the stage and interview him a little bit. And we, as Jason spoke to earlier, we would sure like to make people smile and get them laughing and put us on stage. You asked for it.
Well, I think if you go online though and look at that video, it's gone viral. At least small town viral. There's like 8 views.
You guys hit the big time.
I haven't even watched it. I can get us up to 9. I get my motto watch.
You guys have another, by the time this airs, you guys will have done another online video, this one for Clam, a Facebook Live, which you guys are actually, the day we're recording this interview, you're doing it here in a couple hours tonight. What do you guys have planned for that Facebook Live?
Probably not the newlywed game.
No. That was really good.
Well, the cool thing about doing the Facebook Live with Clam, and they do it every Wednesday throughout the ice season, and they have different pros that come on, is it's very, very interactive. So people that are watching are just constantly asking questions. You can't answer them fast enough. So we could have an agenda of what we want to talk about, and it would be difficult to get to that. But you talk about a great way to get information, and even though we're doing this tonight, and you can always find it online on the YouTubes afterwards. Yeah. But, like I say, we have all of these great clam pros that come on there, men and women who are great anglers who have a lot of good insight.
Probably better fishermen and women than we are.
Oh, for sure. 100%.
Should we take over so they can just type questions for you in the chat tonight? Is that how it's going to work? Should we put in some newlywed question games during their Facebook Live tonight?
I've got several text messages today from several people. Are you sure you want to share that and let me know you're going to be on? And they're threatening.
Empty threats are
out there.
Well, the good thing is I already have 12 questions that I can ask them that you've already provided today. So
glad I could help.
My backup plan.
And I've already written the answers down.
So I want to ask you one more question about Burbot. And maybe this could have helped you guys when you had that muskie under the ice there. Have you guys ever used a Burbot style bait to catch big fish? Because Savage makes some, I think 10-inch and 14-inch. Yeah, here's a video I did up in Saskatchewan a couple years ago, and our lake trout up there just go bananas for these things. The pike too, but that's a lake trout.
That's not the small blue one, is it?
It's a 10-incher. So that's a small. The smaller ones seem to work better for us because if you watch how this lake trout approaches this, they come up and actually eat it from the side. And I think what ends up happening on those bigger ones a lot of times is when they eat it from the side, they miss the hooks. So the smaller ones with the hooks, I think a little bit closer, we end up hooking up a little bit more because it's interesting how they approach. And he'll come back up and hook up here in just a second. But you'll see how he'll kind of come up and come at it from the side, which is pretty interesting, I think.
Well, we can actually one-up that. Not that we both use Eelpout style baits very often, because I don't think you do.
I've jigged with the smaller Savage one, and they make a pretty small one. Is it 6-8 inches? They make a blue one. I've used it for lake trout up in Canada before, the smaller one, and had some success.
But we've actually used an Eelpout for bait.
Yeah?
Not in Minnesota. Now, don't get everybody's feathers all ruffled and whatever, but up in Canada, for lake trout, it wasn't live. It was dead, but we had a 20, I think it's 24, it's either 22 or 24 inch Eelpout on a quick strike rig for Eelpout and for lake trout, and it went off. What did it go off twice, and we never got the fish. But it was just a couple days after that they got a 40 incher on that same dead Eelpout.
After we had left.
Well, we've pulled a lot of dead eelpout out of the mouths of lake trout and pike that we've caught up there. So it's definitely a popular forage for those big fish. And speaking of forage for humans, I got to ask you a fish taco question because I got in an argument with a buddy of mine the other day about tacos. And this is actually more about meat tacos and what goes in a taco. So I make pheasant and goose tacos all the time. And I'm not really a huge fan of lettuce, so I don't usually put lettuce on my tacos. So generally my tacos are, some sort of tortilla shell. I usually do a soft taco. The meat, some cheese, and some taco sauce. Now, everything else to me just gets in the way. The meat and cheese, what else do you need, right? Well, my buddy argues with me that that's not a real taco, and I want to get your professional opinions. You could substitute fish for the meat, for the protein if you want, but what makes it a real taco?
You mind if I start?
Yeah, why don't you interject?
I'm in the food business, so I'm talking to chefs all the time, and I'm a regional sales manager for a rice company. Your taco is a very Midwestern white cotton panty taco.
That's all right. I like those too.
And it's a taco, and to each their own. If that's my taco, I'm putting everything on it except black olives. I want onion. I want jalapenos. I want taco sauce. Tomatoes, the meats, probably some more peppers, some more meats.
But not rice.
That makes it a burrito, doesn't it? Yeah.
In a burrito, it might.
Cilantro. I think
I'm a cilantro fan.
Yeah.
I think cilantro makes a good taco. I would add cilantro, but I get beat up over my tacos. But if you go to any of the fast food Mexican restaurants and order a taco, what are they? It's meat, cheese, and lettuce, and sauce, right? So has Taco John's been lying to us all these years?
You get what you pay for.
I think a taco is whatever you want it to be. If you say it's a taco, it's a taco.
Yeah, I think.
All right.
You don't have
That's
to.
the nice thing about tacos. When you make them at home, you lay out ingredients, or you have like a taco bar, right? It's like a Bloody Mary bar. You put what you want in it.
It doesn't have to come to blows over tacos.
Yeah. I think your taco sounds super boring, Brett, but that's
It's definitely super boring, but it's good. And that's all that matters. All right. The Jason Durham, Go Fish Guide Service, Jason Rylander, North Country Guide Service. And Jason, you in harvest? What you keep saying you're a rice guy. What's your real job?
That is my real job. I sell rice. There's even a comedy bit about it on the internet. There's a company out of Bemidji called In Harvest, Rice and Grains. I sell to restaurants and to distribution. We don't have like a retail brand. You won't see us in the grocery store. So I'm selling chefs. You'll find our product in the restaurants you go to, fine dining and the like.
Well, I had a question I wanted to ask for Rylander about the rice thing because, he has had this picture, a few pictures that have been very popular with ice fishing recently. He was on the cover of the In Fisherman Ice issue.
Oh, yeah.
He's big time.
Super big time.
But have you ever been on the cover of a rice magazine?
I haven't made.
You haven't made the cover yet? Has he made the cover?
They only put food on the cover of those kind of magazines. They never put people.
You're a good example of somebody who likes to eat food.
I was going to say, how better to sell a food product than show somebody that's been enjoying that food for a long time?
You never trust a skinny chef.
Right. Exactly. All right, guys. Well, tell people how we can reach your various guides. If people want to go out and have you guide them, how can we reach you guys, or how can they reach you?
Well, you can find me online on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. Of course, if you just Google Go Fish Guide Service, it's going to come up, or even just Park Rapids Area Fishing Guides. And then, of course, Jason is on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Romper, Feeder, Sticker, Snorter, and MySpace.
I'll check out your MySpace page for sure.
Matt's going to be mad at you. NorthCountryGuides.com is probably the best way to line something up with Matt. Or you can reach me direct. Facebook's a great way. And right there. We've got a contact right there. I've been guiding for Matt for 10 years or more now. And we got a good thing going. He does more of the winter stuff. I just don't have the time or the energy to guide much in the winter. I kind of take that to fish myself, but summertime I'm always happy to get people out in the boat. So. And
I will add, Brett, that I'm super excited because 2022 Go Fish Guide Service is celebrating their 30th year.
No kidding.
Which makes it super old.
Wow.
I was 11.
Wow. Well, hey man, congratulations. That's pretty good. The guy business is tough. So when you can say you've been making it 30 years, it's I don't like to use the word grind, but it's a grind, and it's quite an accomplishment. And Jay Rye, I'm going to talk to your rice company because we have a picture for the cover of the Rice magazine. We've got a great photo that they wouldn't even have to pay for a photo shoot.
I'm waiting to see what this is.
I don't even know what you're trying to cue at here.
This one right here.
Oh, now look at this.
Oh yeah.
That was just the other day. I got a new shirt for Christmas, and I was trying it on in the garage there.
Hey, there you go. Cover model right there. All right.
It's cold.
Well, this has been a good time. Gentlemen, I appreciate you jumping on with us here from the Fish House. Good luck with the Facebook Live tonight with Clam. Jason Durham, Jason Rylander, thanks for being on the show.
Appreciate it.
Fellas.
Sporting Journal Radio is a division of Macaba LLC. If you've got a question, comment, or story idea for us, send us an email. Go to sportingjournalradio.com. While you're there, you can learn how to advertise on the show and visit our store for hats, hoodies, coffee mugs, and more. Go to sportingjournalradio.com. 852 million acres of public land, 147 million private properties.
All in the palm of your hand. The #1 hunting GPS app just got better. With hundreds of custom map layers, 3D and topographic maps, you can easily scout on the road or at home before you go. And now you can get important weather details, CWD detection, and even know what crops have been planted where. Get the most trusted hunting GPS app ever made. OnX. Know where you stand with OnX.